they've got one of the families have got a little boy.
One of the families got a little boy. I see. And what roughly is the age of that little chap then? Just roughly.
He must be about 6 or 7.
6 or 7. Okay, yeah. Thank you for that. Can you briefly tell me through? So we have other characters then. What the woman is pregnant and they've just had the test. Is that right?
So I think this is coming for the new year.
This is the couple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're very much at the heart of this story. When you see that this storyline is coming your way, how?
I have a breakdown in communications. Stand by. Restoring service as we speak. Be there. Really? How extraordinary. Oh, I've got to take the fucking bin out. Hold on, mate. The fucking bin man left my bin upside down the road. Cheeky fuckers. Do they not know who I am? Right, now what's happening? Anything new in the world of wobble? Jolly good. Oh, dear. Well, that's a nice AC of last weekend, I would say. Yeah, Thursday. What happened was, I didn't know they did it, but the San Antonio, apparently a few years ago now, they took up the coast road and dug it all up, closed it, put a tunnel in, and they put a restaurant on the beach. Yeah, so there's a restaurant on the beach, on the beach, mate, from the San Antonio Hotel. They built a tunnel. No, that was the Dolman, mate. That was the Dolman. Oh. Oh, well. So what's happening today, buddy? What's on the agenda? Yeah, I just got it, mate. Got it last week. Memory, the minimum, I think, was 17k. I think it was based on the annual average salary for a year. Shows you how well, how low the wages are, mate, doesn't it? If that's the salary still. I do remember years ago that the average salary for a copper was that price. I had it in euros, a little bit more than that in my transfer wise, yeah. Oh, and the good mate, thought, right, now let's see how we play this. And what I did was, I went in transfer wise, changed my address online, and I printed out the statement and it came up with my new address. And do you know what? Hey, they'd never asked me. I just did it. I didn't know how to move. I changed my address from the UK to Malta. And then I printed out a PDF of the last month's statement. Last week, was it last? But yeah, that health you need, yeah? Atlas. There's a specific policy that they do specifically for getting the resident status. You pay it for a year, and I seem to remember it was something like €300 for the year. No. You're economically self-sufficient apparently if you've got a minimum of 17 or 18k euros. God knows how that fucking works, but anyway, there we are. Yeah, yeah. Oh, good. Are you going to replace the bits or not? Oh, fucking hell, mate. That's a result, isn't it? Fucking hell. Why did he let you have it for so little? Yeah, well, that's the way to go then, buddy, isn't it? Hey, but still, there is something about that statement which doesn't ring true. Well, you said that you bought it from a friend of yours. You don't have any fucking friends. Oh, dear. Oh, well, I've done the morning meeting. Well, he's at the place in France. You know, because it always freezes to be bloody winter at night. But I've had some taps put in to drain it down. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see. See if he comes true, mate. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. But he said he'll be. Sort out the plumbing, you know, because the guy, the English guy that I had working on it, he's gone into tilt over his wife. She went deaf, and he's getting. So, you know, I mean, I say he's getting on. He's the same age, but you wouldn't think it to look at him. He looks like an old cunt. He does. Yeah, he's in super cunt status. Super old cunt. Yeah. Yeah. He, he's a sock. He's a sock. A super old cunt. Yeah, I know, mate. Yeah, I bet that you can't leave the because I don't. Have you? Did you check out the ferry? Do you remember we were talking about this? And I told you that P&O. So they're bringing all the cargo that normally goes on the ships on the train, are they? Fucking weird, isn't it? Eh? I did do it once. Yeah, I didn't really like it, mate, because all you do is you're stuck in your carriage and you just sit in your car and it's dark and horrible. But I mean, for 30 minutes, up with it. I like going to Langens. I like going to Langens on the ship. Mind you, the Langens they've got rid of. Yeah, but you're a fat, wrinkly cunt. You're a cunt than me. You are a sock. You're a sock. A super old cunt. You're a wobble sock. It set the world alight, mate. Have you seen the price of Bitcoin? Fucking phenomenal, isn't it? You know, I've made about 20k just on my Bitcoin in the last 2 months. Taken some out, mate. Yeah, I took some out last week. It's the thing is, it's all pure profit. All my crypto, it's cost me. I suppose I've spent on crypto about it's the best investment that I've ever made in my life, because all of my crypto, I've got the Digitech stuff, all that, and then I've got the software sales that I did for crypto. I've spent about £1,000 on crypto, and I've got about, I don't know, must be 100k out of it over the last 2 years. It's a cup of tea and a ham roll, mate. Cup of tea and a ham roll, my old son. Cup of tea and a sausage roll. I'm just going out for coffee. Just driven past Pajiva Square. I was going to go down there for a coffee, but there is nowhere to park. Well, actually, that's just reminded me. Yeah, that's just reminded me of something. Yeah. Yeah. No. Like it was a bit like me hedging when we were in fucking in Subic Bay, Philippines. Yeah, bit like that. No, 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 no. You won't. You're not even on for a carpet, son. Not a.
If they are living with it. They didn't even consult the Down Syndrome Association. There's so many amazing blogs like mine, Mum on a Different Path, and loads of other people out there, loads of other parents. And all what we do is we advocate, we fly the flag going, guys, it's okay. It's really okay. And we've been doing this for ages. And then a program like this comes along, and basically the subliminal message of it is that don't bring a baby into the world that's got Down syndrome, because
Let
it's
me ask
better
you, Claire,
not to have it.
what has this 5-year-old lad brought to your life and that of your husband or boyfriend and your other child?
My wonderful partner Andy, who I know is listening because he told me this was going on.
Okay.
I can tell you what he's brought to our lives. He has brought a different perspective. It's like seeing another colour under the rainbow that other people can't see. There's definitely that. A gratitude for the everyday things, for things like language and health. That when our second son came along, my goodness me, yes, there's a difference, but you're just so grateful for everything that comes so easily to him. And Theo is a very affectionate child,
Yes.
and he's a very much loved part of the community around here, and he draws people in. So when you walk down the street, we're not an anonymous family. I had to get used to that. People do look at you, less so in London actually, but people look at Theo and see he's a walking, talking, happy boy, part of his family. Yes, all right, he might never go to university, but I suspect at some point he will be able to hold down a job. And yes, he'll always have a certain amount of scaffolding around him. But you could have a child and they could have mental health problems later on down the line, and they have scaffolding
I'm
around
coming
him.
to the last 45. Tell me about that web. Did you say you'd started a website or something? I just wanted.
I have. My blog is called Mum on a Different Path, and I'm on Instagram, Mum on a Different Path.
And what do people get from Mum on a Different Path? What's that all about?
They see that being on a different path is actually not that different from any other path. It's just as rewarding and illuminating. we are just so sick and tired of having to go, our lives are okay, and this storyline just trashes over that. I just wish they'd chosen something else, or highlighted Edward syndrome or Paco, but not Down syndrome. We're okay.
Well, I tell you what, A, it's lovely to hear from you again. B, congratulations, and my best to Andy, your partner, and congratulations. I tell you what I take from you, which I think is very key, and how Emmerdale could have been, is just to have listened to the association, to talk to a mum or group like you. That would have done, I think, so much, Claire. Look after yourself. Talk again soon. Great hearing from you again. Claire, thank you very much indeed. Apologies to David, to Kevin, to Jazz and others. We're done for another day. I want to look ahead, though, to tomorrow. It is another Call the Cabinet. We'll be having Grant Shapps tomorrow. You may recall that previous attendees have included Matt Hancock and Alok Sharma. Let's start with Nick in Nottingham, get through to Health Secretary Matt Hancock.
I was displaying COVID symptoms a couple of weeks ago. I live in the city of Nottingham. I went onto the government website to book a test, and the nearest test centre that could fit me in was 350 miles away in Dundee.
The vast majority of people get access to a test at their local testing centre, and it's turned around very rapidly. The vast majority of results would come within the next day.
Because I don't see any point of distinction between Australia deal and no deal.
Again, it's...
Let me do it another way. There is no difference.
Well, Nick, so again...
Sway me otherwise.
It's a question of semantics.
Matt Hancock, followed by Alok Sharma, Grant Shapps. That's tomorrow. I'm done for today. James O'Brien's the other side of the news here on LBC. I'm with you tomorrow morning from 7. Meantime, stay safe.
Thank you, Nick. It's approaching 10 o'clock, and of course Christmas is coming, but the gulf between...
Initial 30 pods given to care settings, with 100 in total due to be rolled out for 6 months. And the weather dry and bright for many, wet and windy for northwestern areas though, and some patchy rain in some other western parts, a high of 12 degrees.
This is LBC.
Right now at your local co-op, you'll save a fantastic 20% off on a selection of delicious products from our Irresistible range. So you can enjoy a 400-gram co-op Irresistible fish pie, while your other half tucks into a 510-gram co-op Irresistible margarita pizza. Paul, eat your own. Well, kind of. Co-op, it's what we do. Subject to availability. Selected products. See participating stores for details. Offer ends 8th of December.
Euronics is the home of electricals. Proud independent retailers serving our local communities, especially through these strange times. And with over 600 stores across the UK, we are here for you now more than ever. While some stores may be closed, we are still available for all your home appliance needs. You can continue to order online for click and collect and delivery with COVID-safe installations. We appreciate you supporting local businesses, so shop with your local Euronics today. To find your nearest Euronics retailer or shop online, visit us at euronics.co.uk.
This Black Friday, Virgin Media's dropping the bass with our pricing that's an all-time. That's right, grab our lowest ever price on the bigger bundle with lightning fast broadband and amazing TV, including Sky channels and BT Sport in 4K Ultra HD at a low $44.99 a month for 18 months. So are you ready to go? Search Virgin Media Black Friday. New customers, Virgin Fibre areas, average speed 213 megabits per second, 18-month minimum term, £35 setup fee, terms apply.
Shall we sing a Christmas tale of a snowflake in the sky? Now let's go with Lidl's Christmas puddings and mince pies. Lidl's award-winning deluxe 24-month matured Christmas pudding for $9.99 and 6 luxury mince pies for $1.49. Lidl. We're gonna Christmas, you can believe it. sort of point of view, how it did for your immune system. They also wanted to make sure that they could transport it all the way around the world. It could be produced cheaply and easily, and as you mentioned, it could be stored in a fridge. And they are hoping, AstraZeneca, to produce 30 billion doses of this vaccine by the end of 2021. So hoping to reach, right the way across the world.
Wow. If you were a betting woman, Rachel Venables, do you think anyone will be vaccinated by the end of this year?
I just want to clarify something I just said. I said 30 billion, I meant 3 billion. So
yes.
First of all, apologies.
No, that's quite all right. I'm not going to lie to you. I did do a quick double take with Keith on that one, and I thought we might need to double check that. That is an estimate. Yeah, but hey ho, what's a zero between? Who was it that got that big zero? Oh, it was one of those idiots, wasn't it, on the Spectator?
3 billion, 30 billion. What's that between friends? No, so apologies.
3 billion doses by the end of 2021, fact fans.
Still plenty to go around. Let's be honest, that's still a massive number of vaccines. So apologies for that. We'll pull back from that. You were asking about the. They did also talk a lot in this press briefing this morning about how the regulators here in the UK and in America and elsewhere around the world, they've been given a sort of rolling data sheet. So they've been kept up to date with this vaccine as the studies go through. So starting in April, when I think the first jabs were given, all the way up to now. And the efficacy model, the data, they'll be handing that over, I think, today, possibly sometime tomorrow. So long as there are no last minute surprises, they are hopeful that this vaccine could be, given out to the first couple of patients starting next month. And certainly you had Matt Hancock, the Health Secretary, this morning talking about that, saying that the NHS, he says, stands ready to start with a mass immunisation programme.
Rachel Venables, many thanks indeed. Some very good news, actually, for a whole heap of reasons, not least, and Caitlin Moran has made this point on Twitter, so if you have any issues with it, you can take them up with her, not with me, but she's saying you could tell that this particular team was led by women because they've come up with a vaccine that you can store in a normal fridge, whereas blokes would be like, we need a special nuclear-powered fridge to store this vaccine. It's just a little bit of fun. Don't write to the Daily Telegraph about it, will you? In the company of 30-odd Tory MPs. 20 minutes to 11 is the time. You're listening to James O'Brien on LBC. Kelly, I'm going to address your text directly, but I'm not going to step back from my promise this morning that we shall discuss this in a warm and friendly fashion. Hi James, she writes, why would you not want to be with family over Christmas, having not been able to see them for most of the year? Then you then go on to describe your rather lovely sounding normal Christmas. Mate, nobody's saying they don't want to be. If you don't want to be with family, you're not even part of this conversation, are you? Come on. This is everybody wants to be. It's like the idea that people want lockdown, Kelly. Nobody wants a lockdown. Nobody wants a lockdown except a tiny, tiny number of eccentrics. And ditto, nobody wants to avoid their family at Christmas. There's probably one family member that people would quite like to avoid at Christmas, but the general, and of course they'll be the last person to know that the rest of the family would rather they weren't there. That's the nature of, that's how it unfolds. Brexit supporting uncle in the corner, for example, he won't be aware of the fact that we'll laugh at him the minute that his back is turned. But nobody wants lockdown. Nobody wants not to see their family. The question is, what's more important? Seeing your family over Christmas, or simply prioritising and maximising health? A lot of you are, perfectly understandable, a lot of you are questioning my intelligence this morning and saying it's the economy's stupid. The only reason the government are doing this is because we will spend more money as a result of being able to spend more time together at Christmas. You could be right. I don't know. That's the problem in the absence of clarity and leadership. You don't know why they're doing what they're doing. And Chill the Monk Out, which is a rather jolly Twitter handle, goes a little further. Okay, they gauge public reaction and they'll make an announcement later. It will all be based on the reaction. That's how they roll now. Again, I warmly disagree with that because they've got opinion polling already. So I don't think, well, based on what the newspapers will do, then we can agree. You know, based on what the newspapers owned by very rich men who need you to spend money in order to get their share dividends and to get their bonuses. That could well be true. So what are the newspapers? Let's have a little look, shall we? Daily Express. It's official. Christmas is cancelled. So maybe that will be the kind of, I beg your pardon, Christmas is saved. Maybe that will be the test. I do not know. Matt's in Dartford. Matt, what do you reckon?
Hi James. We are going to plan to, as long as it's within the rules, see both my sets of grandparents at Christmas. We're not going to do a 5-day jolly up.
Right.
But essentially, my nan's a widow and has been for 3 or 4 years. She's on her own. She's very lonely.
Yes.
Yeah, very tough. She's got my auntie as a support bubble, but she works a lot, so she's not around all the time. And my other nan has her granddad, but she's also in the middle of going through chemotherapy for cancer. So she's saying quite humorously that she's sick and tired of sitting with my granddad for the last 7 months, and she wants to see their faces. We said it wasn't the best idea because we work in the NHS as it is, so we know the risks. But they both quite stubbornly said, well, we don't care because if we're not here next Christmas, this is going to be our last Christmas. It was quite daunting then, and it sort of...
It is. And that is why I said at 10 o'clock this morning that I'm not going to argue with anybody today, because I can't argue with you. And especially then, imagine if it was the old me, Matt, and I'd jumped in as soon as you'd said that, and then you'd gone down a little further in the conversation and revealed that you all work for the NHS, so who the hell am I to lay down the law to you? But you've got misgivings about this, clearly.
Yeah, I sort of think we're going to be precautious. We know, obviously, working in the NHS, we know what precautions to take anyway. We're not.
So what will you do? Will you wear masks in the house? Will you keep 2 metres away from Grandma?
No,
I mean,
we've got a long table, so we've got a garden table and an indoor table, and quite without ostracising them. They can be at one end because they've been shielded in a...
That's what you want to do. Choo choo, up to Grandma. There you go. Bit of cranberry. Choo choo, back down to you. It'll be, I mean, for a stranger coming into your house, knowing what was going on, it would look weird. You're going to be that careful.
Yeah, I think it's sensible, you know, like I said, they can't get no breathing on them and all that kind of stuff, but we're not gonna just sit there and be like, oh no, you can't come round, you can't come in, you've got to sit on your own again at Christmas or whatever.
No, I'm going down a different path, and I think I'm right, but I don't think I'm so right that you're wrong, if you see what I mean. How many people will be there in total? How many people?
I think we've got, I think it'll be 8 in total, but everyone's situation is different. That's the problem with this. Everyone's got, it's all subjective, isn't it?
Of course it is. Of course it is. And you know, I mean, when we spoke to the chap up in Seaham a moment ago, he's completely on his own, and he's decided to jump differently. You know, even if the family say come and see his dad, he's going to say no. Whereas in your family, the calculations have turned out differently. Whatever you decide to do, be as careful as you possibly can, and don't break whatever the rules are. I don't think you can go any further than that without being almost sort of performatively provocative. Whatever you do, be as careful as you can, and don't break the rules, whatever they turn out to be. That would be a JOB Christmas. 0345 60, don't laugh, Keith. 0345 60 60 973 if you want to join in, unless I've actually made a deliberate joke.
On LBC.
You say he doesn't stand for anything, that he says whatever the people in front of him want to hear. Doesn't that suggest he might very well be a politician who's capable of resetting? If your analysis is right and he doesn't believe in anything, then maybe from today he'll believe in something different from what he believed last week when Dominic Cummings was there.
That's what Boris Johnson would do.
So he is capable of a reset.
Eddie Mayer, this afternoon from 4, LBC.
Somewhere there's a story of a missing Christmas letter. Not here though, because Lidl's award-winning drinks are better. With the world's best Cremant de Loire brew for $8.49 and hottest gins and liqueurs from just $9.99. Lidl. The kind of Christmas you can believe in. Subject to availability, selected stores, excludes NI.
Missed the PPI deadline? Don't worry. Fast Track Reclaim, a claims management company, can check PPI on every credit card, loan and mortgage you've ever had. And with Fast Track Solicitors legal action, you could still claim it back, even after the deadline. Find out. Text yes to 82727. You don't need a claims company to check PPI and can claim through a solicitor of your choice.
Fast Track Reclaim. Text yes to 82727.
Dell's Black Friday mega deals are live during our biggest business sale of the year. Save up to 50% on selected tech, including Dell's award-winning monitors. Speak with a Dell advisor today and get the right tech solution for your business this Black Friday. Call 0800 085 4878 or visit dell.co.uk/Black Friday work to shop Dell's biggest sale of the year. Limited availability. T's and C's apply.
This Black Friday, Virgin Media's dropping the bass with our prices at an all-time. That's right, grab our lowest ever price on the bigger bundle with lightning fast broadband and amazing TV, including Sky channels and BT Sport in 4K Ultra HD at a low $44.99 a month.
So far not had to pay for tickets as part of the Rail to Refuge scheme, which started in April. The programme's been extended due to an expected surge in demand. The cinema chain Cineworld has secured a £336 million debt lifeline to help it through the pandemic. The group has temporarily closed its sites in the UK and the US. It's also secured access to another £233 million in liquidity to boost its finances. In the city a short time ago, the FTSE 100 was trading up 22 points at 63.74, and the pound buys $1.33 and €1.12. The weather dry and bright for many, wet and windy for northwestern areas though, and some patchy rain in some other western parts, a high of 12 degrees. From Global's newsroom, I'm Simon Conway.
If you're wondering what you can do with your pension pot, this could be how you're feeling. That's the sound of worry and uncertainty, but you could be hearing this. Let's call it the sound of clarity, which you can get from PensionWise, a government service providing free, impartial guidance. In just an hour, you'll get clarity on all your options so everything feels less and a little more. If you're over 50, visit pensionwise.gov.uk or call 0800 144 8944 and discover the power of an hour.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with James O'Brien.
4 minutes after 11 is the time. You're listening to James O'Brien on LBC, where we're just wondering what we want what do you want for Christmas? Oh, there you go. It's taking me an hour. Could have spared you at least 20 minutes of hyperbole and pontification this morning. What do you want for Christmas? 0345 60609. My two front teeth is back. Doing so make more sense having taken your calls for an hour than they did at the beginning. So people are going to see their families at Christmas whether they are allowed to or not. Boris Johnson can't. Whether he should or not is a question for a different age. But in this culture, at this point in our country's history, Boris Johnson cannot send the old bill around to kick in doors and drag people while they're still munching their turkey dinners out of the house for gathering in too big a group. He just can't do that, right? Especially not someone who is, I mean, it's hard to believe given how ridiculous his performance as Prime Minister has been, but he is actually desperate to be liked. So that can't happen. So the reality that Boris Johnson is addressing is this. Huge majority of the country do not want to sacrifice their January, or God forbid their life or their health, in order to spend Christmas with their loved ones. They would love to spend Christmas with their loved ones, but they've done a calculation, a cost-benefit analysis, if you will, and they've come down on the side of safety and health, or erring on the side of caution. Some people have made a different calculation, and the responsible ones, if that's the right word to use, will be very, very careful while spending more time with more family members at Christmas than they were allowed to this weekend. That's a good parallel, okay? So just take the weekend that's just gone as an exemplar. So Johnson is addressing the reality of knowing there's huge public support for not relaxing Christmas, but there is a significant number of people who are probably going to crack on with their own Christmas anyway, regardless of whether they're allowed to or not. And he can't, I don't think, send the old bill round with blues and twos blaring to lock people up for the crime of pulling a cracker. So what does he do? Okay, well, he formally relaxes the regulations for a 5-day period while hoping that most people won't take advantage of it. And that actually is good politics. 0345 6060973 is the number that you need. And what are you going to do? What do you want for Christmas? 7 after 11 is the time. David is in Leamington Spa. David, what would you like to say?
Hi James, good to speak to you. Yeah, it's been really interesting hearing some of the calls coming in already. I think my take on it is this. Obviously living in Leamington Spa is quite a, well, and around the Midlands anyway, it's quite a multicultural area. Eid was under lockdown.
Day before, I think Leeds and Bradford got put into lockdown pretty much the day before Eid.
Yeah, exactly, and there wasn't this uproar that, well, not certainly. I'm not a Muslim, so there wasn't uproar.
Unhappiness. Is there uproar? I'm not getting uproar here. I mean, maybe it's just because we're such a civilised bunch on this programme, but I'm not seeing any uproar.
But yeah, I mean, we've also got, Hanukkah's going to be coming up, and we have Rosh Hashanah was in September, I think, this year. I can't quite remember, but and we've just had the Diwali on as well with and fireworks night. So we were under lockdown for all of those things, and we've still got a lot of people in hospitals, a lot of people who have still got the virus in the country right now, and we're not the extremely Christian country that we have been, in sort of Victorian eras gone past.
How dare you? Do you not hear the people that want to kill refugees? They're upholding Judeo-Christian values at every turn. David, may God forgive you. May God forgive you, your presumption.
Well, I hope he does. I'm a Christian, I'm a church-going Christian, but I will not be spending Christmas with my family or all my in-laws. They're all over 60 and have various health
and the
issues.
Vaccines, they'll be in the front of the queue for the vaccine, so there isn't that sense. I know it's a little bit weird. I had a mate when I was growing up who was born on Christmas Day, and he used to have a birthday party on June the 25th, and it was great, and we all used to pile around and buy him presents and stuff like that, but it's not the same. But with the vaccine on the horizon, it feels different from how it would have felt a month ago or 2 months ago, because you sort of think, well, come September or come July, we might all be able to, or even come March, we might all be able to get together. So if the turkey dinner is that big a deal, you're still going to say your prayers on Christmas Day, you're still going to mark the birth of Jesus, but the family side of it, the socialising side of it, we can do that a bit later in the year.
I'm fairly sure that I've got a few friends that live in Australia and New Zealand. They celebrate a second Christmas on June the 25th, because for them, Christmas is in the middle of summer. So it doesn't feel like the kind of Christmassy tradition of winter and it being cold and the nights drawing in and things like that.
It is weird. So, we were on Bondi one year. We were on Bondi Beach on Christmas morning, and we had a barbecue for Christmas lunch. Luckily, I managed to uphold at least one tradition from back home by getting absolutely slaughtered before tea time. I shall leave you with that happy festive thought, David. He's right though, isn't he? I mean, the idea, I don't know that it is. I think Daniel was probably right when he talks about it solely in terms of the kids having fun with their cousins. I mean, church is part of Christmas for me and my family over the years, but to claim that it's a crucial part for the country, I just don't know. And anyway, there's nothing to stop you from saying your prayers. There never is, actually. 10 minutes after 11 is the time. Josh is in Cardiff. Josh, what would you like to say?
Hello. Well, James, I don't want to sound pungent, but I'm think
sure you won't.
we're all in the same boat with regards to the virus. But in my thoughts, we're sort of paddling through the storm in very different ways.
Yes.
We've all got different lives and different sort of challenges, I suppose. I shielded for 4.5 months. I have cystic fibrosis, so I'm vulnerable. Yes. I actually caught COVID not so long ago, but got over it. I'm fit and well. But my partner's father has just been diagnosed with terminal cancer and only has months. So, I mean, if you were to ask me what I was going to do,
all bets are off, aren't they?
What are we going to do? And I think, personally, it's potentially his last Christmas. And I feel that, Christmas is a special time of year for a lot of people. And whilst it's easy for people to say, let's just celebrate next year, well, some people might not have a next year.
No, which is why none of us are being pungent today. Are there, you may not have looked into it yet, but are there exemptions for serious medical scenarios? I think there were.
I'm not sure, if I'm honest. I know, obviously, as a vulnerable person, I'm actually an athlete, so I'm allowed to go to the gym when things have been locked down and certain gyms were open. I was allowed to go and did, because it's my job. But I think we can't judge anyone with this virus. We've all got different reasons for doing certain things. We can only just keep each other safe. I do agree with Daniel with mask wearing. Obviously, as a vulnerable person, it's important for everyone to wear a mask.
So you're not going. The problem is, isn't it, as Daniel alluded to, the problem isn't you. The problem is stupid people.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'm not stupid. I certainly hope I don't.
I'm just going to check with Keith, Josh, right there. I think he sounds pretty smart, don't you? He's listening to this show. No, you're all right. You're over the line, Josh. You're not one of the stupid people.
Good, but I do feel that, I mean, listen, I think that even if it is the ruling that we can't go to my partner's father's house, I think we are going to go. I've got to be honest. As a law-abiding citizen, normally, under normal circumstances, I have to say that, we would obviously take precautions. I'd even isolate for 2 weeks previously.
I'm just trying to find, while you're talking, I'm just looking at what Marie Curie have advised on this, because, I mean, I don't know quite what the full definition of end-of-life care is, but I'm involved in some end-of-life care at the moment, and I have to say that the forefront of your mind is not occupied by the current COVID-19 restrictions. You are being incredibly careful, but equally, you can't leave somebody whose days are numbered alone and untended indefinitely. So I suspect that you are in a different boat from the one you would be in, to use your own analogy, to the boat you would be in if you didn't have a terminally ill father-in-law.
Absolutely. I think, it would be a completely different Christmas altogether if that wasn't the case. But going back to your earlier point at the top of the show, actually, where you said you were feeling sad on the weekend, but you then digress and say, I didn't feel low because I'm privileged. Well, actually, privileged people can still be low and depressed.
No, I know. I can't win, can I? There I am, acknowledging my privilege while saying, although I felt a bit low, I realised that compared to many other people, I'm lucky. And you're having a pop at me for that. So I managed to firefight all the people who'd ring in for it's all right for you in your £1 million house in Chiswick with your flipping Xbox or your PlayStation and your big telly or whatever it is that is supposed to be signifiers of epic wealth these days. And you've rung in to say, no, it's all right to be low if you're privileged. Thank you, Josh, thank you for your permission. In return, let me offer you this from Marie Curie, which is, of course, the cancer charity. In many areas of the UK, government guidance says you cannot visit someone at home, but there are exceptions to this, including if someone is dying. You can visit someone who is dying in their home, even if you do not provide their care. This is sometimes called visiting someone for compassionate reasons. So, I mean, look into it as much as you want to look into it, but I think we're both right to just sense intuitively that if you have somebody who is receiving end-of-life care, in Josh's father-in-law's case, I'm sorry for you all, in Josh's father-in-law's case it's terminal cancer, then probably inevitably then the rules shift, the focus changes. 11:15 is the time. You're listening to James O'Brien on LBC, where the question of what we want for Christmas has, I think, attracted a broad consensus. Is we don't want permission to have a knees up Mother Brown, and we don't particularly want permission to have gatherings of 3 families or more, which we're not allowed to do. It's 3 families or less that you are allowed to do. But people who are going to take advantage of the relaxation, well, the ones that have called me are going to be very, very careful. So I cautiously suggest, and I'll explain, I'll take this up to 11:30, so I'll take a couple more calls and I'll have another crack at explaining after this why. And, this is a little bit like pulling teeth for me, at which point I give a quick nod to Elaine in Devon, who can have an exemption from being banned for life from the programme if she rings in to say my 2 front teeth in response to my question of what you want for Christmas, because Elaine tells me that as a result of not being able to see a dentist during the lockdown period, she has actually had her 2 front teeth extracted. So you are not banned for life. You are allowed to want your 2 front teeth for Christmas. The rest of us, I think they've got this right. And there are 2 phone lines free, so we've got lots of people waiting to answer the questions we've already asked. We'll take this up to 11:30. It's now 11:16. Tell me if you disagree that the government have got this right, because from where I'm sitting, some of us are in danger once again of letting the perfect be the enemy of the good. And throughout this pandemic, all we've asked of our politicians is that they provide the least bad option. And in some countries, of course, politicians have stepped up to the plate and delivered that. In this country, we seem to have, whether by hook or by crook, we seem to have ended up doing the worst possible thing in almost every context. So let's crack open the pomade, shall we? Crack open the Perry on this occasion, because in the approach to Christmas, it's possible that the government have finally, in the spirit of a stopped clock, got it right.
This is LBC.
Quick check, find out fast. Get a credit limit of up to £1,500 when you need it. With a Motion credit card. Check if if you're eligible at ocean.co.uk without it affecting your credit score. It only takes a minute. Intelligent Lending Limited is a credit broker. Capital One is the exclusive lender. Representative 39.9% APR variable. Borrow and spend responsibly. The Ocean Credit Card. There for when you need it most. Visit ocean.co.uk.
This Black Friday, Virgin Media's dropping the bass with our prices at an all-time. That's right, grab our lowest ever price on the bigger bundle with lightning fast broadband and amazing TV, including Sky channels and BT Sport in 4K Ultra HD at a low $44.99 a month for 18 months. So are you ready to go? Search Virgin Media Black Friday. New customers, Virgin Fibre areas, average speed 213 megabits per second, 18-month minimum term, £35 setup fee, terms apply.
The Mercedes emissions scandal. Vehicle emissions harm you and the environment. If you currently own or have owned a diesel Mercedes that was made between 2009 and 2018, you might be eligible for thousands of pounds in compensation. Join the claim. Visit mercedesemissionsclaim.co.uk or text JOIN to 85222. That's mercedesemissionsclaim.co.uk or text JOIN to 85222.
At the Halifax, we know that catching up and checking in on each other has never been more important. So this year, when our customers couldn't come into our Halifax branch, we picked up the phone and gave them a call. We've made over 250,000 wellbeing calls so far, and we'll keep checking in on our customers throughout the winter months, just to see if they're doing okay. Halifax, it's a people thing.
Euronics is different. Independently owned electrical retailers in over 600 local stores across the country, offering great brands, great service, great value, and always proud to be local. That's the Euronics difference. And right now they've got some great deals from leading brands like Bosch, Neff and Siemens. So it's always worth a visit to see your local independent